I'm used to.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'll call the April 22nd Fayette County Board of Elections meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Oh, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay. Well,
Can you hear me?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is public comments. Speakers will be given a 5-minute maximum time limit to speak before the Board of Elections about various topics, issues, and concerns. Speakers must direct comments to the board, and responses are reserved at the direction of the board. And if you would step up to the podium, and I believe there's a microphone over there. We just have one.
Yes.
And if our number one speaker would step up to the podium. Press and hold.
I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to speak today. It should be green. It should be green. Oh. Can you guys hear me?
But they can't forbid it.
Oh, for the.
Technology.
Keep us employed.
My name is Jane Harmon, and I reside here in Fayette County. And I saw that we were postponing the consolidation of the polling locations, and I just wanted to make sure that that would be postponed for some time, all of this year, all of 2026, or is there a plan to bring it back up? The postponing of the polling location, the consolidation of the polling locations, that's been postponed. That's what's on the door, so.
Can we respond?
Well, I mean,
We'll get to it later.
and, but that's my main concern. Are we doing it just for today? Or will it happen later this year? Or are we to expect it in 2026? If we are doing this, have we commissioned a survey, a study to be done prior to consolidating the polling locations? Those are the questions that I have, and that's all for today. And I do appreciate you guys, and thanks for making it safely in our traffic jam outside.
Thank you. That was our only public comment speaker. So the next item on the agenda will be new business, and that is the voter challenge policy review. And we have forwarded this. Go ahead.
It's the advanced voting.
I'm sorry, misread. The advanced voting dates and times for June 17, 2025 for the special primary of the Public Service Commission election.
Greetings, board. So in your director's report, I have given you all a recommendation for the June 17, 2025 advanced voting dates, times, and locations. Since this election, we expect very small turnout, and also is not exactly for a seat in the county of Fayette. It's for District 5. It's for District 2 and 3 with the Public Service Commission. However, Fayette County is in District 5. I am requesting the dates and times that are listed in your director's report. And those dates are May 26th, Tuesday, May 27th, because Monday is a holiday, through June 13, 2025, which is a Friday, for 3 consecutive weeks, as well as the mandatory Saturday voting dates of May 31st and June 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. And I have listed the 3 voting locations as well that we typically hold in accordance with municipalities instead of our statewide and countywide elections. So that is my recommendation to the board.
Okay. Any comments from the board, or would you like to make a motion?
I just wanted to ask, I think I was saying, I don't know why we would even need it at Tyrone. It's one of the smaller ones for turnout anyway. So I was questioning, could we go down to 2? I mean, I realize the reason you're doing it, because we have municipals in November, but we would look at this again for November, right, for municipals? So is there a reason why since we're already cutting out, the Fayette Library is typically one of our 4, yes?
Correct, and we are not voting here at the library under my recommendation. The library also is not available
Okay,
for June.
okay. So is there a reason why we would not consider not having Tyrone open, just having 2?
In doing my research, and in accordance with the law, we can go down to 2. I'm looking at you just in case I was wrong. However, the only reason I would push for 3 is to give all angles an opportunity, but I'm open to whatever it is that you all would like to make a motion on.
Okay.
The only legal requirement is going to be the elections office.
Okay. Any other comments or discussion?
Just one thing, looking at what is statutorily mandated here as far as early voting is concerned, the only thing I'm seeing is the lack of a Sunday voting option. I know we had that in the 2024 election. Of course, this is going to be a lower turnout, but I know that serving our religious members are potentially going to church services, whatever, in the morning on that Sunday morning. I know we had a really big turnout actually on that Sunday in the 2024 election. So that would be my only thing. I just feel like potentially the inclusion of a Sunday, but at this point, given that it's a low turnout election, most likely. And with these 2 Saturday days, I think I'm more or less satisfied, but I do think we should probably look at further Sunday options in our further votings in order to keep with that precedent that we've already set.
Okay. Any further discussion about Tyrone?
This only applies for June, correct?
That would be correct, yeah. The information before the board is just for the primary of the PA Public Service Commission race in June. My only concern with cutting out Tyrone is that it cuts out that whole northeast section of the county. It's not just Tyrone proper, and that grabs an awful lot of folks on their way home coming down 74.
Good
So
point.
that would be my only concern about cutting that out, but I do understand that we anticipate low turnout. Can I have a
Just to,
director?
just to not sway your direction, but to kind of provide more information that I was going to speak on later on in the director's report. We started receiving absentee ballot applications on March 31st, and as of Friday, we have received 5 ballot applications in the office.
In 20 days, or whatever, is that what you're saying?
So far for
Yeah.
this election since the date of March 31st, which was the first day to receive applications.
So that would be,
I'll make a motion that we accept the advanced voting schedule, locations, times, and dates as presented by the director.
I will second that motion.
okay. And just for the record, that would be Tuesday, May 27th through Friday, June 13th, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday voting on May 31st and June 7th, also 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday is Memorial Day. Any further discussion?
Call out the 3 locations.
And the 3 locations would be the Fayette County Election Office, the Tyrone Center at 945 Sonoy Road, and the Peachtree City Library at 201 Willow Bend Road. No further discussion? In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now, the next item on the agenda is old business, which is the voter challenge policy review. And we have postponed this, tabled this for probably close to 6 months. And we still have no action, to my knowledge, from the State Board of Elections. So, we have any discussion on this?
I'm the one that has consistently kicked it 2 months down the road. In discussing this voter challenge policy review, I'm going to ask that we just completely quit or just drop this review. And my rationale for doing that is there's so much going on right now with the state election board and with legislation, as well as what's happening at the national level. And I've spoken with a couple of members of other boards, including Gwinnett, the chairman, and they went through and did a full voter challenge review, policy, etc. And his words were last night, I wish we'd have never done it, because right now the laws have not changed, and they were following the laws, and this just complicated their process immeasurably. So I'm asking that we just drop this for now, as even a subject to discuss.
I appreciate those concerns completely, but in the absence of action from the state election board, as well as specifically in the absence of action from the legislature too. I was up there the entire session. I saw you a few times, Member Alexander. As it stands right now, it seems to me that the first big batch of voter challenges that we got was some 6,000 or so, if I recall correctly. The man hours and cost to the taxpayer directly tied to handling that voter challenge would have been massive. Was massive. Man hours, taxpayer dollars, as well as having to consult with attorneys. And specifically, I think, in working on this voter challenge policy, we've been working pretty closely with the county attorney, with Patrick. We're trying to make sure that we are following the law completely, as well as the fact that we can always update it in the future in order to comply with any further legislative changes that the Bold Dome decides to push down on us, including with the state election board. So I do think that the development of this policy not only saves time, it saves money, and putting that into place will take a lot of effort and stuff off the plate of our election staff, who are already stressed, and Lord knows they're going to be stressed come the 2026 cycle. So I would be against doing away with it altogether. I'm open to looking at further discussion and potentially ironing out some of the few kinks that we had, because I think we were pretty close to actually completing our policy from what I recall last. So I'll just say I'm not in favor of removing this from our agenda, but I potentially would be open to tabling it another month.
Question for the county attorney. If we dismiss this, can we do so, and there's nothing prohibiting us from bringing it back up?
Right, I mean, you can add this to your agenda anytime you want to in the future. If you want to table it to May, you can do that. If you just, at this point, you already have something in front of you, so if you want to take it up soon again, you should probably just table it again. If it's something you want to send back for further review, then you might want to just direct staff to do further review and bring it back to you in the future. But I don't know that dismissing it if you want to revisit it is a good idea at this point, because you've already got something in front of you.
Okay.
And I will say that the purpose of the policy, you can't use a policy to change anything about the law. You still have to follow the law. The purpose of the policy is to give guidance to staff and guidance to people who want to submit voter challenges as to how that's going to be considered by the board within the confines of the law. So.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion? You look like you're...
I still maintain that I think I would just, rather than continuing to kick this down the road a month at a time or 2 months at a time, and people still be having to look at it, I think that we need to just dismiss this, looking at it now, and if there's a big change that comes up through legislature or a new development at the state election board, we can pick it up then, and there's not going to be any change to what they already have, because we're not discussing it anymore, correct?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
What, the policy that you're talking about, that we have in front of us, that we could discuss,
Right.
I'm saying that's not going to change. I mean, we would file it, right?
Unless the board has some changes they want to make to it, no, I don't think staff has any changes.
So I'm still saying, I think we need to dismiss, looking at the voter challenge policy review, and if something changes, or a need arises, we can bring it back up and put it on the agenda. That's personal.
Well, since the legislative session is over, we can anticipate no changes from them
Right.
until
Next.
essentially a year from now. And action by the state election board is a question mark that we can't anticipate those changes, but giving staff guidance and giving the public guidance in how to approach the staff with voter challenges after kicking this for 6 months seems like that we can, at least in my view, move it on, bring it forward, and then if we have to make changes going forward, then we make changes going forward based on input from the state election board. But we've put in the effort, and most importantly, my concern is the man hours or the person hours of the staff in responding to voter challenges when we get these massive voter challenges of 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people. That staff has the guidance that they need to do it as effectively and expeditiously as possible. So that's just my thought on it. So at this point, I would entertain a motion on the voter challenge policy review.
Can I ask one question?
Of course, further discussion.
Yeah, just one more question. As the director, would the adoption, if the board were to adopt this policy today, would that be helpful for you going forward as well as helpful for the public looking to potentially file voter challenges?
Yes, if I recall correctly, because I do not have it in front of me, the only questionable item was the list of documentation that they needed to bring to be able to challenge someone's voter registration status. So I believe that's where we left off at.
At this point, I would just leave that alone, because I don't want, that gets to where you're adding to the law, and I don't want to be adding to the law by giving a list of documents.
Not at all.
So if I can review the policy, if you would like, and kind of make those amendments for you to see if that works going forward.
So you're asking
Just
for them to
a-
table it?
Yeah, absolutely, because we don't have it. I didn't put it in your board packets. I don't know if you have your old copies, but I don't have it.
All right, sounds like, of course.
Patrick, if I heard you correctly, you're saying that the part where we're trying to say to the people making the voter challenges, that we want to leave that out? That seems to be against what you're trying to say.
So there was I know there's been discussion in the past about providing a list of things that the board would consider as probable cause for a voter challenge. Well, the law doesn't really provide anything like that. And if we provide a list, what if it's something that's not on that list? And we kind of get to where we're trying to augment the law rather than provide guidance. We're going to just need to accept whatever they have and take it through the process and determine probable cause that way rather than try to say this is probable cause or that's not probable cause. Because I think that's going beyond what a policy should do.
I just didn't think that was guidance. If we're not telling somebody who's going to be doing a voter challenge that this is what will be acceptable to go forward, then I'm not sure that we're providing that much guidance, but I'll yield.
Okay, do I have a motion from the board?
I would make a motion to table the voter challenge review policy until the May meeting, specifically with direction to the staff to consult the attorney and resolve any lingering issues, and then bring us something that we are ready to vote on at the May meeting.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of tabling the voter challenge policy review until the May 2025 meeting? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of May 25th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion from the board?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor of approval of the March 2025 meeting minutes? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public hearings. And some of you in the audience may have come here for the hearings that were originally scheduled pertaining to precinct amendments, consolidations, what have you. Due to the change in venue for this meeting and the requirement for public notice that went, I believe it's 30 days.
We were required to run an ad, a public notice in the newspaper with 30 days notice that we would be held in a public hearing on these issues. I think we did run an ad, it's just that we ran it for
For the
public
other
hearing
building.
room at the other building, and we didn't find out until last week that there was conflict. And since we didn't notice the correct location, we were having to reschedule those.
So for those of you that came here for that potential hearing, that will not be part of the public hearings tonight because we had to comply with the legal requirements of the public notice. So that's why this is a special call meeting, because of the last minute change in venue due to the conflict with the Board of Commissioners meeting room. So the next item on the agenda is the public hearing of staff's recommendation to remove registered Fayette County voters from the electors list who are registered in the state of Georgia Secretary of State Voter Registration System as deceased.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the public hearing of staff's recommendation to remove Fayette County voters from the electors list who have been canceled.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Last item on that public hearing, that will be, we will have public notice if we haven't already, that the public hearing pertaining to the precinct consolidation of venues and the precinct consolidation of a single, well, there's a co-location and a consolidation. In any case, we will have public notice, and that will be held at the May 2025 meeting. So apologize for that last minute change that we had no control over, but nonetheless, that's where we are with that aspect of it. Next item on the agenda is the director's report.
Greetings, board. This is going to be very short because we've covered a portion of the director's report already. As of April 16, 2025, there are 103,361 registered voters in Fayette County. I would like to point out for the June election that the first day to receive absentee ballot applications is March 31st. Absentee ballots will begin to be mailed on May 27th, And the deadline to register to vote is May 19, 2025. Logic and accuracy testing will take place on May 12th, and those notices have been submitted to the legal organ, as well as they will be up on our website shortly. And lastly, our poll worker training will start on May 13th, 2025 through June 5th, 2025. And let the record reflect that we have been working on our training diligently, even so much that we have brought in our chair for a presentation with our election supervisor to be able to recount and recap and kind of get a gauge of where we are. But we are, and he made some wonderful suggestions, so that will begin on May 13th, and I do invite you and welcome you to come sit in on one of those trainings.
Great.
That concludes my director's report.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the attorney's report.
I have none.
Okay, thank you. Board member reports.
No, can I go back and ask a question about the poll worker?
It's your time.
Okay, thank you.
Here.
Thanks. Brianna, on the poll worker training, does that mean that you have already, have you selected your poll workers and have they been given notice, et cetera?
Yes, ma'am. Do you know the date? Maybe about a month ago, we started sending out the notifications. So at the beginning of the year, we send out all of the election dates to everyone that is currently on our roster in the system, ever served before. And all I have been seeing in my emails for the last 2 weeks are those confirmations of I'm available, I can work for June and July. So we've already sent out notifications and started assigning people and plugging them into those spots. I want to say I've only seen about 3 or 4 new poll worker applications come through.
If it's not too much, as you send out these emails, if I'm not out of order here, I would like to be receiving them. And I only say that because we get questions about, you know, can we be poll workers, et cetera. And if I don't know that you've already selected, it just creates, I would like to have the email so that I know when people are being contacted and that you're getting them ready to go, if that's possible.
I can send you a copy of those notifications. However, you can always send them my email directly. They can call the office and ask to speak to me if there's ever any question about selection or if their application was even received in the office. So to answer your question, yes.
Thank you.
That it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have anything specific. Thank you to staff, thank you to Patrick, thank you to the board right here, thank you Member Charlene, Chairman Rower. You know, we did have a little change of venue here. It's nice to be back in the library once again. But other than that, just thank you to everybody. Thank you to the public for turning out to these meetings. Oftentimes they're dry and not exactly the most entertaining or exciting thing. I know SmackDown is probably a lot more tempting, but here we are running elections, so thank you all.
I wanted to reach back to the questions that we had during the public comment. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that the board acted to not address any other precinct changes other than the 2 that would be, so the concern going forward about precinct consolidation, the only 2 that are under consideration for the hearing is co-locating, make sure I get the terminology correct, Braylon Elementary to move that, and then to combine 2 precincts that are already co-located as far as the voting. So those are the only 2 things going forward, and the board has acted to not make any other changes. So that is, I guess, the response to that query. The only other thing I have is a statement that I want to read. 50 years ago, I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Doesn't seem like 50 years, but it is. And it turns out that nowhere in that oath did it have a use-by date. Right now, in my opinion, that Constitution, our Constitution, is under attack. And my oath demands that once again I actively work to defend both it and this nation. While the executive branch, again, in my opinion, is bullying the world, tearing down our institutions, targeting women, people of color, veterans, those from foreign lands, and acting like a wannabe mob boss, the legislative branch has abdicated their duty and responsibility, allowing the mob boss tactics to go unchecked. They're ignoring their role in containing unchecked power and enabling this destructive behavior. The issues this election board faces are important, but are a microcosm of those faced by the nation. And as a member of the Board of Elections, I'm limited in what I can do away from the office, and I need to be doing more. What that will be remains to be seen, whether it's going door to door to register voters, recruiting candidates, raising money, or simply protesting. I can't sit idly by while all that I see that is good and decent is destroyed. So as such, I will be stepping down from the Board of Elections effective May 31st. Thank you. That's all.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Second. Okay, second.
Aye. Motion carries, meeting's adjourned.
Let's do that.